any chance, and still I build my dream romance around a star that beams so far above me.
I know you love this music, Dennis O'Connor, but I can't go with you on it. Bores the tits out of me.
I fall asleep every time you put that on.
It bores the living shit out of me. But, I mean, it's relaxing. It's like a musical quaalude. He comes back again. You know, he comes back with better lines. It reminds me of the R Gang kids. Reminds me of like Spanky and...
Well, yeah, vaguely. Kind of like an egg reminds you of a pile of shit, but that's all right.
I think he comes back, he gets a little perverted on the next line. Here he comes. I've had enough waiting for him. Fuck this. This is Flush After Listening, where Dennis and I talk about whatever the fuck we feel like talking about. And what I feel like talking about tonight is, well, to be completely honest with you, I was going to say something, but I'm going to abstain from saying it. Because if I do...
What about the pine cones getting blown up your ass today in a windstorm?
No. This is a
okay.
This is a serious subject, a subject that I don't want to tangle. And it's a subject of sexuality. I'm confused as to the subject of sexuality. And I don't mean I don't know how to use my goods. I mean I'm confused about all this shit I see on the internet. So...
Well, when you get done, I have a take on this, and it's more of a question than a statement.
Well, then go ahead, because I got nothing. I got balls in my hand. Currently.
Well, okay. You know, right now, every time I turn around, they're coming out with another gender, and I can't even begin to list them because I don't read that much about them. But there's like 700 different possibilities now. But when archaeologists dig up a body, a mummy, whatever, been buried in the damn ground for 3,200 years, they only have two genders, male and female.
Well, they had a pussy or a cock. I mean, it's just... Here's how I feel.
They go by the pelvis size now because there's nothing left but bone.
Regardless, here's how I feel about it. Either you got a cock or you got a pussy. Now, if you got a cock and you like cock, you're gay, you're a fag. Everybody's going, don't say fag, don't say fag. That's what they say. In England, a fag is a cigarette. So, I mean, 6 in one hand, half a dozen in the other. But if you got cock and you like cock, then you're gay. If you got cock, you like pussy, then you're hetero. Whatever the fuck that means. If you got a pussy and you like cock, then you're hetero. If you got a pussy and you like pussy, then you're a dyke, a lesbian, whatever the proper term is for it.
A tuna eater.
Right, a carpet muncher. But either way, if you got something, you like something else. Now, if you got something and you want to get rid of that something and turn it into something else, to like something else that you see, it's pretty fucked up, Max. So if you've got a... Maxine threw me off with her screaming. If you've got a cock and you remove the cock and then you're searching for cock, do you see where I'm going with this? You had a cock, but you removed your cock. Now you've got a vagina, or you've duct taped it up between your asshole, or whatever you've done. But now you're going out and you're searching for cock. I'm confused, Dennis. If you had a cock and you liked cock, just keep your cock. Like, now it's different with the women. And I don't know if they add a cock. Do they add a cock? Like,
I don't think they've done that yet.
Okay, so if you have a vagina and you like vagina other than your own, then you are a lesbian from the island of Lesbos. So you're searching for it. But Dennis, help me out here. if you have a cock and you cut it off and you search for cock, are you envious of the cock you lost, or are you just emphatic with everybody else's cock but your own? I'm fucking confused.
Well, so is Bruce Jenner. He cut his off, and now he's looking for it.
Well, that's kind of the who I'm thinking of when I'm ranting here. I have a dick.
It's called penis envy, but in reverse.
But
you had it, you threw it away, and you're envious now of all the other ones that got it.
Why did you get rid of it to begin with? I mean, yeah, maybe you like tossing off other guys.
Well, he evidently felt it didn't go well with his artificial upper section.
Here's the fucked up thing about him. I did not know this. He has been taking pills to enhance his breasts and stuff for a long time. Like a long time. Like not 5 years. A long time. Like not the Bruce Jenner, Kellogg's picture Olympic athlete Bruce Jenner. But not long after it. He was taking pills to enhance his breasts and female hormones. Pretty fucked up. I know what you're going to say. But my bottom line is here. I don't care what you're into. Don't pull me into it. I don't give a fuck. But I'm trying, and people are going, Dave's losing his mind. Of course, I've lost it. Fuck, Dennis knows I lost it years ago. But if you have a cock and you cut it off and then you're searching for cock, don't you just want to keep your own cock? I mean, like, not that I can even understand why.
Bruce has his. It sits in a jar on it.
Oh, pickled. It's like a pickled cock.
Yep. Along with the eggs that he put in there, just to add some decoration. He only put in 2 eggs, though. Is
it true that Ted Williams' head is actually frozen? Is that true? Is Ted Williams' fucking head frozen?
Yes.
So, what are they intending on doing with John Wayne? I heard John Wayne's is too. What are they intending on doing with these heads? Like, why would you keep... This is I bring this up, everybody's going, how do you go from cutting your cock off to Ted Williams' head? Because it's just as confusing to me. Why do you cut your cock off, and why do you freeze your head?
Well, in cryogenics, and they're looking 1,000, 1,500 years into the future.
Okay.
That they'll be able to transplant the brain after they've thought it out into another body, and therefore Ted Williams will be around again. He won't look the same. You know, he may look like the Hunchback of Notre Dame, but he'll have Ted Williams' brain.
But it's going to be Ted's head. Like when they say head.
No. Well, they freeze the whole head simply because it's easier to maintain the brain that way.
Okay, so
they will take the brain out of the skull and then transplant it into another head, and supposedly he will live again.
You're scaring me. You're getting all Dr. Frankenstein on me. Dr. Frankenstein O'Connor. This is getting weird. So some being, some Frankenstein, for lack of better words, will have Ted Williams' brain and be able to play baseball like Ted? I mean...
Well, the brain doesn't entirely deal with your coordination and stuff, but he'll be able to give statistics on history of the baseball like nobody else.
Okay, let's say Ted like Spanish pussy. Is this brain going to like Spanish pussy? Is Ted's brain... Let's say Ted like popcorn. Is this brain going to like popcorn?
Well, if it's 100% successful, yes, everything that Ted was before, Ted will be now. But there's a degenerative possibility where he may lose a percentage. Now, he might lose 0.1% and it not make any difference. Then he might lose 10%, and he thinks he should piss out his armpit. You know, I mean, it's
going to be a fucking Frankenstein's monster. Is there a possibility that it won't work at all? Nothing will work. It'll be a complete waste of fucking time and energy.
Well, as it stands right now, it won't work. Because once the cells freeze, they break. You know, it's just like it's like water. You freeze it, and it turns hard and it cracks.
It's like
and that's what happens to the cells.
It's like a hard-on after it sees a 500-pound hairy woman. It just dissipates. The hard-on...
Real quick.
Yeah, it turns to mud. It turns to a fucking slushy in the 7-Eleven cup. Complete.
But you see, there's those that have frozen their entire bodies, hoping everything will work and that the technology be around to fix those broken cells.
Well, if they're smart and they get this figured out, you know what you want to do? You want to freeze my cock. I want to freeze my dick and balls because somebody is going to benefit from this goods down the line. I am cock strong. Like,
well, put it in your will to donate them to science.
Somebody is going to benefit substantially from my goods. I mean, it's definitely awesome. If you were lucky enough to transplant and it might be a transformer, so I better be careful what I'm saying here, because if you put this thing on somebody else, it's going to kind of be like doomsday. I mean, it's
well, look at it this way. You go ahead and do that.
Mm-hmm.
And then Bruce Jenner, he has his entire body frozen, cryogenics.
And puts my schlong on him.
When he wakes up, they say, oh, here's a whole set for you, Bruce.
Okay, so my goods on Bruce Jenner. You
got to realize he'll still be packing mud all the time.
Well,
with your goods.
I'm dead, I don't know. But I'm just saying, if it's Bruce or whoever, if you freeze my junk and you put it on some person that's not versed enough in what I'm versed in, are you in fact putting a loaded gun in an unknown person's hand? You're really putting an Uzi into the hands of an unknown Uzi user if you take my junk and stick it on some naive kid. He's going to be poking holes in the wall with the fucking thing, Dennis. He's going to be poking this and poking that, and who the fuck do you be poking this? And
well, and then there's the opposite. All the cells broke, they can't fix them, and it just hangs there.
Oh, no, my junk's never hanging there. It's going to be like a flagpole. That kid's going to wake up in the morning like this, like a fucking forearm. That shit's going to be fucking cock strong. But
they could put it on a 5-year-old and then put him in the circus.
Oh, fuck. That would be ridiculous. The kid be walking around with a fucking forearm sticking out. The fucking diaper would have to be... He'd have to put 3 diapers on the kid to forearm that thing. Fucking ridiculous. Can you imagine that? The kid's walking around with a fucking... I don't want to say. 15-inch hard on. Everybody's going, fuck you, Dave.
Too much information.
Everybody's going, Dave, fuck you. You don't have a 40-pound cock and a bucket of balls. You just don't. But it's interesting, all this stuff. I mean, not my junk being frozen, but Ted Williams' head. Like, why Ted? Did Ted concede to this? Did Ted say, yeah, just cut my fucking head off and freeze it?
Well, the sad part is, I mean, Ted Williams, great guy, great sports guy, etc. But if I had the brain they should have saved would have been Einstein's.
I agree.
But they sliced it all up to look at it and see if they could figure out why he was smarter than everybody else.
Yeah, either Einstein or Edison or, one of these guys. Yeah.
Tesla?
Yeah, somebody that's like completely ingenious. What's his name? Well, maybe this is a bad example. I was going to say the Apple guy, Steve Jobs. Maybe.
Yeah, that's a bad example.
Well, Bill Gates. What about Bill Gates?
Yeah, another bad example.
Okay.
He's a businessman, and he had an idea, but he hired people that could formulate his idea.
Oh, so he's a fuck. But, all right, so what about the guy in the wheelchair?
Stephen Hawking.
Yeah, Stephen Hawking. Freeze it or not freeze it?
That probably would have been a good one to try and save.
Okay, I'll give you a couple more examples. Freeze it or not. And this is a game called Fuck It or Not. We'll play Freeze It or Not. Robin Williams. Freeze it or not?
Yeah, not. He was He wouldn't have wanted to come back.
I didn't like him anyway. Okay, Bob Hope, freeze it or not?
No, I lost interest in Bob Hope because I watched him read all of his damn cue cards.
Okay, Johnny Carson, freeze it or not?
Yeah, freeze it. He's a pretty funny guy.
All right, you like Johnny. What about Uncle Milty? Freeze it or not?
Who's Uncle Murphy?
Milty, Uncle Milty. Milton Berle.
Oh, Milton Berle. Yeah. Yes, freeze it.
Freeze it. Okay, what about Ed Sullivan? Freeze it or fuck it?
Stuff it in a trash can.
I agree. Okay. One more. Actually, I'm going to do a 3 right in a row. Yes or no? Dean Martin, Don Rickles, and what's that fucking broad from Green Acres? Zsa Zsa Gabor.
Don Rickles is a maybe.
Fuck Don Rickles, that piece of shit. I'm fucking glad he's gone. He was a sarcastic little frog-faced fuck. I never liked Don Rickles. I don't care if Frank Sinatra liked him. I don't care if the mob liked him. I don't give a fuck who liked him. I don't like him. He's a fucking rude, fat little prick. He had nothing to add. Yeah, and I love Howard Stern. You know that. And Howard always said he was his hero. I can't see that. Howard Stern is way more funnier, way more intelligent than Don. Don Rickles had absolutely no talent, in my opinion. Although, I will say this. I watched him on a show with David Letterman and Howard Stern. And for an old man at that time, his timing and wit was impeccable at the moment. Now, I'm not saying that means he was the best comedian. I don't think was he a comedian? Or was he just a hired heckler? I mean, did he just go out and for roasts and heckling? It doesn't seem he did comedy to me.
Well, he was stand-up comedy.
The stand-up comedy is Richard Pryor and Eddie Murphy and fucking who's that other guy? Dave Chappelle. Not fucking Don Rickles. Don Rickles and even Bill Cosby was funny. Oh, don't even get me into that fucking one.
Mr. Pudding Pop?
I got a real bone of contention here. We'll come back to Don Rickles, remind me. My bone of contention is this. Bill Cosby, and you told me this. I did not know this, so I'll say Dennis did alert me of this. I don't watch the news. I don't read a newspaper. I don't watch TV. I fucking hate all of it. As a matter of fact, I hate politics, I hate politicians, and I hate everything to do with this country, except the ideals of this country. I believe in the Founding Fathers and the Constitution. Everything else can suck my ass. Bill Cosby, as Dennis told me, was in jail for a while when Dennis told me this. I am really having a hard time with this. I understand all these allegations and all this shit. If you want to buy into it, you buy into it. But fuck you on this one, because who's that fucking piece of shit fat producer who did the same fucking thing and he's walking around free? I can probably sit and henpeck at least 5 Hollywood cocksuckers that have done the same fucking thing as Bill Cosby. Why is the cause in jail and they're out free?
He burned his bridges behind him with the Hollywood moguls.
Because he told him to go fuck himself. So maybe we shouldn't be looking down on Cos. Maybe we should looking up on Cos. Because he didn't suck anybody's ass.
Well, he's in prison. He's doing a lot of looking down now.
Yeah, well, I agree. And unfortunately, the thing is, he's going to die an old man in prison. He's not going to make it out. Even if they gave him clemency, even if he... And, you know, here's the thing, Dennis, this was pretty much wiped under the rug. This went fast. Next thing you know, Cos was locked up, and that's it. And, you know, to put this old man away at this age, he's in his 80s. I mean, come on. The guy was a fucking...
This is going to be a bad analogy.
All right. Fire.
But look at some of the Nazi war criminals that finally got caught and prosecuted at 78 and 89 years old, and they put them away.
They should have been put away. They were fucking ruthless. But, I mean, Cos, He really didn't do anything that nobody would have done willingly. You know, I mean, these broads came in. They got involved with him.
They went with him knowing what was going to take place.
Right.
They only didn't realize.
Yeah, and I'm not so much buying into that shit either. You know?
But I think he packed it with ice cubes because he liked to do a cold tap every so often.
I'm not so sure he did.
You know, morgue's always closed at 1 o'clock in the morning, so you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah, but I'm not so sure Kaz did everything they say he did.
Well, I mean, there's no real proof. It's just one person's word against another, and then once the first one started, 3, 4, 5 more jumped in and chimed in, so their name would be in the paper.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, like, how much can you possibly run this guy down the road? And you know, I mean, I'm not saying he's innocent. I mean, he didn't do such a good job with getting himself into talking himself out of it. But I mean, fuck, he's an old man. I'm going to leave it at that. I mean, at some point we should have left him be. Now
they will.
Back to fucking Don Rickles. He ain't funny. He's not a comedian. He never was a comedian, in my opinion. Everybody's going, yeah.
He built his name on being sarcastic.
I'm being a prick. And, you know, they kind of gave him a pass being he was involved with the mob and Sinatra, whoever the fuck he was involved with, you know. Everybody likes to talk shit about things, but you know what? I'm not talking shit. I really don't like the guy. I mean, I just don't like him. I never thought he was funny. He never made me laugh. I don't find him amusing. For him to poke fun at anybody looking like a fat little frog, you know.
Maybe he was hoping somebody would kiss him and make him a prince.
Yeah, well, they had to kiss pretty fucking hard. I mean, he's not a very pleasurable man, in my opinion. But anyway, I mean, so Kaz is locked up. How much time did they give Cosby?
I don't know. It's 15 years.
Oh, come on. I mean, really? That's fucking ridiculous.
Well, that's 7 years with good behavior.
That he's never going to make that. He wouldn't even make half that. Yeah,
he'll make it because he's playing the game. He's running around in a wheelchair now, whether he really needs it or not.
I think that's just ridiculous. I think they never should have fingered him for this. He did what he did. Give the guy fucking. You're not a woman. You don't understand. Maybe I'll be a woman one day. Transfer my goods. Have a vagina. Fuck myself. Then I can really go fuck myself like everybody tells me to do.
Well, you know, now they're making them out of fish.
Fuck me, what?
Yeah, they're making the vaginas out of fish skins.
Oh, fuck, I've had enough. That's it.
Well, it keeps the smell there.
Jesus Christ almighty. Yeah, that's, yeah, I think that's enough for me. That's more than enough with the fish pussy. Flush after listening with myself, Mr. Dave McMahon, and Mr. Dennis O'Connor. And this show is just, yeah.
You wanted to rant tonight about Kaz.
Kind of, maybe.
And Bruce Jenner.
And about my goods. Anyway, have a wonderful night.
You've always wanted to brag about him on national radio.
Now I did.
Now you did.
Anyway, have a great night, folks. Dennis, you have a good night, too. And we'll be back again shortly. I think next time we'll come on, we'll discuss my Japanese Beatles and why they are very, very similar to, as Dennis calls, livers. Livers. let's close out with some beautiful piano music. Thanks, folks. Fuck you and enjoy Mozart.
Good night, Amadeus.